Hey, welcome to my channel. This is Spirit Soul Sense, Information for Your Soul. I am Dr. Sharice, and today I wanted to share with you 6 major things that I did that shifted the way I think about the world from scarcity to abundance mindset. The very first thing on my list is books. Books were my first love, so to me it makes sense that books would be like the thing that helped me shift my thinking. So the first book that changed my life was The Power of Now. I read The Power of Now and I felt like I had permission for the first time to stop overthinking. It like never occurred to me before. The second book, and I have videos about these books on my channel already, so if you haven't seen them, please check them out. The second book that literally changed the way I live my life was a book called Women Who Love Too Much, because I was a woman who loved too much. And as an overwaterer of plants, I realized that I used to overgive and underreceive. That book taught me to prioritize myself, to give myself grace, to be selfish, and to forgive myself for all my past mistakes. As a psychologist, I'm sure it's not surprising to anyone that therapy is the second thing on my list. I recommend therapy to everyone. I think everyone can benefit from a year or two of therapy. You need more if you've been through, more trauma and the things. But I've had 2 therapists. One of those therapists I call my healer, and we're still in contact today. I talk about her pretty regularly on my channel. There's a whole video that we did together. Oh, I love her so much. But my first therapist really moved me from survival, right? I was moving out of survival mode. I processed my trauma, all the things that happened with my father, things in childhood. I was able to say out loud for the first time. And, I used to cry all the time, like uncontrollably cry. Like nowadays I cry because something is so beautiful or it's so moving. But I used to cry like uncontrollably. Whenever I mentioned my father, I would just start like bawling. I was like, I think I need to talk about this stuff. I think I need to talk about it. So my first therapist really, we focused on trauma work, moving the energy outside of my body, releasing the pain, that sort of thing. My second therapist, my healer, really shifted me to abundance, right? All the baseline things were there. I had pretty good coping skills. I knew what to do when I was feeling upset or emotionally reactive. But it's like, how do you thrive, right? That was the next question I was asking myself. How do I thrive? How do I love on myself more? And that's what my healer did. Changed my life. The third thing on my list, there's so many people here. The third thing on my list is financial literacy. I think having an abundance mindset is certainly very important, but actually having the facts on how to make your money make money is a whole other skill. And so I realized, I didn't like being broke. I didn't like not having money. I didn't like having to ask. Now it's really fine for me to ask for help if I need help, but it's also not fun having to always need and not be able to do for yourself. So I'm comfortable asking for help, but at the same time, I love being able to attract the money I need. So I went to a lot of financial workshops. I watched a lot of financial videos, and then I hired a financial coach. So I have a video on my channel about, tripling my income, right? I went from less than minimum, I didn't go from minimum wage. I went from 16,000, right? 16,000 my first, it wasn't even a real job, but it was my internship. 16,000 to 30,000 to last year. I think my gross was like 110,000. Like all of that was a process, but to be able to make that amount of money in a year, embracing ease, not working even 40-hour weeks, felt like an amazing thing that I knew was coming to me, but couldn't quite imagine it. But taking those financial literacy classes just informed me about so many things related to budgeting, investing, how to use insurance, and then how to start a business, right? I also created 2 businesses, which I just would have never had the thought to do before taking these financial literacy classes. Understanding money is super important, especially if you're part of the Black community. I always say the best things you can do to elevate the Black community is unlearn anti-Blackness and get your money right. Number 4 on my list is kind of a combo, but it's really about seeking safe spiritual spaces, spaces where you are expanding, where you are allowed to expand, and there are other people in that space who are also doing the same thing. So spiritual teachers, and then finding community in the spiritual community, like whatever community you know you need to be in, right? That's what I would recommend for building community. There are lots of conscious thought leaders right now. The ones that resonate the most with me: Eckhart Tolle, Iyanla Van Zandt, Oprah, Paramahansa Yogananda, right? I really like these people. I think the way that they think really resonates with me. The abundance that they've been able to get in their life. They have left a blueprint for how to be successful and how to live the life that you want. So I really like these people. Then I've also sought out the online spaces that they curate, because there are other similar minded people to me thinking about, oh, more. We're supposed to have more. We're supposed to live joyful. We're supposed to really enjoy this life that we have. At the same time, having tangible, like physical people in the space is also really important. Being in community with Black women has always been, I mean, I grew up around like 96% Black people. So being around Black women, super, super important. I sought those spaces in workshops, in retreats, where, healing was actually happening. People were getting together and groups of people meditating together, right? Meditating together. Like, I mean, the idea of that kind of energy in a room with so many people, vibrating similarly, it was a beautiful thing. It really changed the way I saw myself, because, sometimes you can think that you're the only one going through something when really you're not. If there's a thing that you've been through, there's definitely other people who have gone through it. But it's so empowering to be amongst community and people who are not judging you, who understand you, who are showing you love so that you can be better. And then the fifth thing that I did to change my life, oh my gosh, change my life, was ended toxic relationships. Oh my gosh, dun. Lots of videos on my channel about toxic relationships. But I ended a long-term romantic relationship, and then I also ended a friendship, right? I had a friendship breakup. We've since reconvened our friendship, but it was just never what it was, right? Things ended because it was toxic. And when you let go of toxic people, you realize how it was holding you back from so many other areas of your life. I think I ended my relationship and then felt like so much energy surged through me to do all the things that I had been wanting to do, all the things I was afraid to do because of this relationship. And then, like they say, you are the seven people that you spend the most time with. Is it seven or three? You are the people you spend the most time with. And so, if you're spending time with toxic people, you are going to have a level of toxicity to you as well. So, I limited, reduced, removed these people from my life. And that really, oh my gosh, that changed my life. I felt like a weight was lifted. I was free. I got to breathe. I felt lighter. Changed my life. And then the last one on my list is I dated myself, right? So shifting into that abundance mindset, doing the things that scared me. I remember I used to be afraid to go to parties by myself. So as an introvert, right? There's a difference between being shy and being like an extroverted introvert. I was afraid of people, right? I was afraid of how people would judge me, people would look at me, I wouldn't understand the rules of the place. So I pushed myself to get out of my comfort zone. I went on dates by myself, right? Either at the bar or with a book at the table, fine dining, right? I did all the things. I went on solo trips around the States, and then I, eventually went to Thailand. I bought myself gifts that I always wanted, bought myself flowers because I'm obsessed with flowers. I did all the things that brought me joy. So then I had a new baseline for how I wanted to live my life. Changed my life, right? I'm a completely different person now than I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And I'm just so grateful for soul evolution, for all these thought leaders, for all these mentors, for all the books I've read that literally changed my life. I am living my dream life right now, right now. And I'm so thankful. Like, life can only get better from here. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Please subscribe to my channel if this is content that you enjoy, because I really want to share this information with as many Black men and women as possible. Thank you for watching.